baby beard.
Waited for you, Fry.
This episode traumatized me as a young person.
My head is hurting again.
Where's my firstborn son?
God does not care about me masturbating.
Your singing is bad and you should feel bad. First get out into the bus, so you're like, oh no!
Yeah, I don't like myself becoming the protagonist of this podcast.
You've been in
Yeah, because you haven't learned anything.
Hey, it's time to shut up and take my podcast.
Oh, it's like a late night with Christopher Bond.
You do kind of look like a late night radio host.
One that's tired and too much Adderall and
Yeah.
The shirt you're wearing as well is
And
very
just-
kind of indicative.
I need to be a little bit heavier so I can be big guy in Hawaiian shirt.
You're like the first guy that dies in a horror film.
Oh, thank God!
Please, I don't want to live through this.
Sweet release.
Tense.
Welcome, everybody, to Shut Up and Take My Podcast, the Australian Futurama podcast that pits episode against episode in a bloody, glorious gauntlet battle for your entertainment. I'm just enjoying the bassy tones, really.
There you are.
Do it.
And I'm joined
Yes.
here by Phil.
My pleasure.
I'm joined here by Ellen.
Those sound like one-eyed corpse streams to me.
Wow, he was a lot dozier
Yeah.
than he was in the episode.
Good. I'm
Lots of things are gonna be
joined
done,
here by sexy Chris.
I guess our listeners didn't like all my screaming and winking.
And
And we're joined by
Sean.
Fit to fuck.
Wow.
I tried to do it super fast to fuck you up, and it worked.
And it worked.
What
Hey,
a positive
Well-
thing too. We're joined by Sean.
Well
what
done.
would you guys do for $5,000, by the way?
What would I do
lot.
for
A
$5
lot?
grand?
$5,000? Like, is that a worthwhile? Is that your price?
Like, I don't want to admit what I would do for $5,000 because it's
The bar is
embarrassingly
low.
low.
I'd definitely
Fuck all money.
give
Guns to gangs?
I'd hear you out.
Yeah. I mean, like, give me a suggestion and let me know.
Would you look the other way and give a crate of guns to gangs?
What sort of gangs?
The Crumps and the Trips.
Yeah, they're not real.
I mean, I would
yeah.
not tell my crew about it.
Oh, your crew.
For $5,000.
Is that us?
Yes.
Oh, we're your crew?
I would give you the crate and be like, don't ask questions.
I probably wouldn't. No.
No.
Sorry to be
I
a
honestly probably
stickler to
wouldn't.
the rules,
I
but
would- probably wouldn't
I
either.
don't think I could do that.
Yeah, I would.
If it was the guns, if it was the Bloods and the Crips, I would absolutely fucking not.
Yeah.
Not
I like
for
the
love
idea that
or
you're
money.
the middleman for the Bloods and the Crips as
But
well.
I would definitely,
you, Chris
like-
Bond.
Why me?
In this,
because they
You've
never
got-
suspect you.
You've
That's
got that
right.
Hawaiian shirt.
I've
They're
got
like,
the-
ooh, he's on everyone's side. He's just
blue-red
here for a good time.
Blue red striped bandanas.
for those who for those
Do-rags.
just for a bit of context, you can't take anything Chris has at face value today because he's on a bit of a purge.
He's going to kill everyone, but only for 24 hours, and then
It feels that way, doesn't it?
and that will make the rest of the year fine.
Oh
somehow.
my God, that's how I should have started 2020.
Yes.
Can I just say?
Private purge.
Can I
Yeah.
just say why is the purge always on murdering when if I had a purge, like
They do.
With the film, the context
Yeah.
of the film,
Yeah.
I would just steal a bunch of shit probably and be rude to people.
They do.
Like, I'm sure people do that, but that's not the focus of the
Yeah,
film.
That's what I
this
want.
follows Ethan Hawke. So I was going to call him Extreme Hawk.
Ethan Hawke.
Extreme Hawk.
No, that's Tony
The
Hawk.
skateboarder.
Well, we need to
That's Tony
still,
Hawk.
still context.
But
Oh, yeah.
reeling back. Yes, you are free of sugar.
I'm free of sugar. I'm cutting sugar entirely from my life. I used to drink at least like 2 liters of Coca-Cola a day.
and
Yep.
and his teeth are falling out of his head,
Yeah.
which is why he's decided to call it quits.
Yeah.
I'm not a paragon of health. I don't think anyone would say that, but I've decided to step towards maybe healing myself.
I think it's
you're a
good.
renegade.
Then you just have to worry
yeah.
about your mental health.
Oh no,
I'm not cutting that
that
out.
was always precarious.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Which is why
Oh,
if you
dear.
hear like
A soft thump. It's me
or
passing out.
or a snapping sound,
Yeah.
that is Chris's sanity, the last of it snapping.
Yeah.
Or me beginning my personal purge.
Yes.
Ah.
I actually have a question for the people at home who are listening, because I was thinking about this the other day, because we are up to season 7, episode 21, which is Assie Comes Home, which just very quickly is a reference to
Lassie.
Some
Comes
dog.
Home, the 1943 film.
I'm sure there's a porn parody. There's probably a porn
Lassie
parody
Comes
of it.
Home is a 1943 film. that
No,
this is
sorry, I
based
thought
off
you
of.
just said dome.
Lassie Comes Dome.
There's a porn
Becomes
parody
a
of
dome.
Lassie, right?
Is it? Is
I
it
don't
called
know.
Assie?
It's probably like the furry community has a porn parody. Good on them. Fucking if you're part of the furry community and you've made a parody or are going to steal my idea of Lassie parody, send me some royalties.
That
But
one's for you,
About $5,000. Send me $5,000.
Yeah.
Slip
I mean-
me
Yeah,
there's your
5K.
limit.
There we
I
are.
feel like there's not a lot of residuals in porn parodies, furry porn parodies.
But they're so high quality.
They're more kind of made for the love.
I've heard.
They spend more than they did on cats.
At the risk of derailing this even further,
Which we will do.
there was a whole thing recently of like artists who basically get stuck into this cycle of producing furry porn because people will pay top dollar
Nice.
for it.
Yeah.
Great.
And they're just like, I don't want to. I want to stop doing this,
Well, then stop.
but the money is so good.
Wait, if we made a furry podcast, are we in a better shape to get thousands upon thousands of listeners?
You know
I
what?
feel like
You know how I've been talking about my anime
can't-
podcast idea where it's
Yeah.
like we introduce Sean to the world of anime for the first time.
Yeah.
Or like largely for the first time.
It's a slippery slope.
We introduce Sean to the world of fairies and we take him to a fairy
I was going to say, do I have to
and-
engage? Like, do I have to become
Yeah,
a furry, or do I
we
just
like figure out
passively
we
watch?
figure out your persona. We get a custom suit
I'm a
made.
Dalmatian.
he's a front. He's out of
wow.
Here we go.
Yeah.
You're just like the
Money
dean.
City.
You're just like the dean in Community, where it's like
This
the,
better
is an
than
awakening
awakening
that
something
you
in me.
yeah, the smallest inkling of a certain kink, and you're just like, oh no,
Oh.
this is it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, listener. I was talking to you. I want to know if there is a listener out there that have listened to us from the very beginning. And I mean, not discovering us later, but actually being with us and have stuck with us for 3 years. I'm interested to know if any of our listeners have.
Who are you?
Who are you?
that makes you a platinum Baby Beard
Yeah.
fan, and
What?
you will
What is
get.
wrong with?
Send
You'll-
us the peanut butter. That's a callback.
Yes.
A 3-year fucking callback.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that. I remember. We got one person that emailed that. I think it was me.
No, someone else did.
No,
Someone else did?
It was on Instagram.
There's actually been a few. It's been as people discover us, they send us peanut butter, which
Peanut
is
butter.
quite nice.
I think someone just sent us an email that just said peanut butter.
They did.
Well, that'll do.
It was very
If
good.
it's on Instagram, though, it's to me, and I've got no fucking clue.
Like Jose.
Contextual. Fuck it. I'm done.
Moving on.
Jose, when you hear this, when did you start listening to us? Let me know. And also, that Planet Express shirt that you're wearing, where'd you get that from? I want it. And if you're not using it anymore, send it to me.
Don't ask him
Slide
for
into
your own shirt.
slide into my DMs.
Don't.
I want your shirt.
Just Google a Futurama shirt.
No, I want his.
Okay.
You
Off
would
his
you would
back.
give him $5,000 for that shirt.
Let's talk, Jose. So, the director for this episode is friend of the podcast, Remy Muskies.
Yay!
His
Must
swan
quiz.
song. Muzzquiz.
Just get it right. I mean, come
Muzz
on.
quiz. It's his swan song. It's the final time that it'll
Oh,
ever
really?
work on
Aw.
Futurama.
Until they bring it back.
Bring it back.
It's never happening.
It's also is he dead?
Who?
No, I just
The guy
thought,
who made Titanic?
Yeah. James Cameron, is he dead?
He drowned, yeah.
he drowned
He
looking for that
went into
damn
space.
dang Titanic.
James Cameron in Space is the film I would watch.
Yeah, to make that Avatar documentary.
I'm never getting onto this episode.
Well, we are, because we're getting onto the writer of this episode,
Hey!
who's Maya Williams, this is also her swan song as well. So
man.
they're
Bye,
dropping
Maya.
like flies.
Going down with the ship.
It's always as if there's only a few episodes of the whole.
how many-
6
Oh,
episodes
back.
left. This is the final 6.
Sweet.
And then we get onto the gauntlet.
Yeah,
We're
then
gonna
we
have
got
to start making decisions.
remind-
We have to do a
Reminder for
let's
people.
play of the video game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, fuck.
And we also got a Valentine's Day episode hopefully coming up.
Hey, hopefully when Valentine's Day comes around.
Oh.
That
Valentine's
would
Day.
be ideal.
It's the 14th, and I'm not sure what day that falls on.
I think it's a Saturday.
Well, then no.
Oh, no, it's a Friday for us.
Well, then definitely no.
Fuck.
Who wants to run down the plot after I've said that the air date is July 31st, 2013?
Well, it's my job, so I'm going to do it and back
Yay!
off. Back off.
Literally, no one's fighting you, Phil.
Okay. Please find me.
okay.
At me, fight me, all those good things. Yeah, this is the story about Bender's ass coming home.
Cool.
Right.
So they go to a crime planet, and he gets robo-jacked, and all the
Fuck.
bits of his body get taken away.
Oh, that's not good.
So we get basically half the episode dedicated to them to like just name checking random characters while they look for his bits of his body.
Wait a minute, very quickly. Did they go on board the ship, steal nothing, but just take all of Bender?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
priorities. Cool.
Yeah.
Continue on.
He's there.
Yeah. There's probably nothing valuable on that.
I just
ship.
mean the ship's probably more important than a. Okay, go on.
No.
Shiniest object
Shiniest
in the
object
universe.
in the universe.
So yes, the last thing they have yet to find is his buttocks, his shiny metal bum.
Posterior.
Yes. And it turns out it's at the bottom of the sea in quotation marks.
Yeah, what was that place? Was it a sea or was
no,
it
it's
like
in
space?
It's
in
just
space.
there's like a thick field of mist.
Yeah,
so
it was definitely sea themed. They went in the bathysphere and stuff, and there were
What are those things called, Phil? The space dusty, cloudy things
Asteroid?
in space.
nebulae.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's probably like a nebula,
Yeah,
right?
something like that. I
Like
don't
the
think it's
Horsehead
intended
Nebula.
to make a lot of sense.
And was that a Jaws reference?
It definitely
certainly
was.
was.
Someone that hasn't seen Jaws.
Oh
yeah.
man, you got to do yourself a favor.
I only
man.
saw it
it's
recently.
One of my
It's really-
favorite
it's really good
films.
Really
movie.
fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fresh as a dead one-eyed corpse.
Yes. So they go down there, they retrieve his butt, but it turns out that his butt is super shiny, and so he donates it to the lighthouse. But
Because everyone keeps crashing into
yes, 'cause
it.
everyone keeps crashing
Because the lighthouse is
it's
shit.
this garbage lighthouse, and his ass is apparently sentient. It can feel, as established earlier in the episode, and when the lighthouse keeper decides to read Bible verses to it, it flies home after rescuing a small boy from a well, so they can cram in an Assie reference.
Yeah.
That's it.
Lassie, assy.
The end.
Also, Chris, as a former priest in training,
Yeah.
could you tell where in the Bible that was from?
Fairly certain it's made up.
Yeah, it didn't sound
Didn't
like.
sound
What
right.
were they saying? Something about.
I didn't catch the quote, but
What,
I'm
to, like-
almost certain that
It
was
sounded
fake.
Old Testament-y.
Gonna say,
sounded-
surely it's in the public domain. They don't have to like pay money to.
No,
like,
I think it was just
Pay money to
Jesus.
God.
It was a good comedy gag for them to just like make up a quote.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was meant to come from somewhere Old
One of the
Testament, like the building of the ark, because it was like about cubits. And
Genesis.
Genesis, yeah,
One of the
Genesis.
fucking
because it was about cubits. And
boring ass fucking passages in the Bible.
there are
What do you
plenty
reckon's
of
the
those.
most? What do you reckon's the most boring one, Chris?
Oh, the Kings.
Numbers.
Kings.
Kings.
Is
that the one with-
objectively Kings is the most fucking
Aren't there two
boring
kings?
passage.
Isn't
Yes.
Isn't that the one that?
Oh, no, it's in
what's his
Kings 1 and
face
Kings 2.
Oh, sorry.
Begets what's his face?
Yeah,
Begets what's his
basically
face?
it's
Begets
numbers,
Joshua,
numbers and Kings are where it's just a fucking history
It's
lesson.
genealogy.
And look, honestly, that's fine, but also it's
Not
there's no
fine.
protagonist. JC isn't on the field yet.
Weak plot. 2 stars.
Who's the protagonist? Is it God?
The protagonist
actually,
doesn't
no,
even
let me-
show up until
Well, actually,
this
it's the
to you.
Israelites, but that's fine. I probably should acknowledge that.
It's
Because Chris,
definitely the Israelites.
we've had this conversation. Chris,
Yes.
who's the protagonist in the prequel trilogy of Star Wars?
No one. In the prequel, there
Boba
is,
Fett.
there is none.
Okay, who's
Sort
the
of
protagonist?
Obi-Wan, but not really.
Yeah, no, it's not. Because
Yeah.
he's not introduced until... Well,
Who's
he
the protagonist
goes
in the
AWOL.
whole series, as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to that point? Because I remember
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is Anakin Skywalker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's the protagonist in the entirety of the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament together?
God, right?
The
God.
Israelites.
If,
right?
if it's the Old Testament exclusively, it's the Israelites or the Jewish people.
Okay.
If it's the Old Testament and the New Testament,
God?
it's the human race / the human races.
It's the reader.
race's relationship to God or God.
So the Bible is a choose your own adventure book.
I'm too fucking. I've gone off sugar. I'm literally
What did we
sweating.
think of
my
the episode?
Lord is testing
You know,
him.
let's actually start with what I think is going to be the Phil. What did you think?
I thought this episode was really boring. I thought it was dumb. Half the episode's wasted on a plot that doesn't really go anywhere. Isn't that interesting? I didn't laugh very much. I just thought this was 90% filler.
Ellen?
I really enjoyed some of the kind of aesthetic choices. I did think it kind of moved back and forth too much for me to really get invested in anything. So it just kind of just breezed me by.
Breeze me past.
Yeah, breezed me.
Shivered me timbers.
It shivered me timbers. Yeah.
Chris?
This starts slightly, maybe problematically, and doesn't really have a good, strong protagonist as far as I'm concerned. So it's a bit of a strange one for me.
What's the problematic aspect?
The gang
Violence.
and
What are they? The blips and the cruds.
the blips and the cruds,
and also using African American English
Yeah.
as like a kind of codifier of like, these are gangs.
And these are, lower socioeconomic people.
It's a whole
who
planet of them.
Yeah. It's
Looking
a
up to
thing.
scenic Detroit.
Yes, that's right.
That was a good sign.
What about you, Sean?
I am glad that they're kind of spreading out their hatred of different cities now. Like, it's not always New Jersey.
That's
but
right, yeah.
everyone hates
Philadelphia,
Detroit.
then
Yeah.
now Detroit.
Seattle.
Look, this is
I
an
like
episode.
Seattle.
I loved the last, when it just got fucking weird in the
Yeah.
last 5 minutes.
Yeah, if more of the episode was like that, it would be better.
I think if
Like
it,
the search for Bender's ass and like how much it means to Bender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just unnecessarily so. And it's an episode about like why literally do you care about your butt plate that up until then? Like if you remember in The Devil's Hands or Idol's Playthings, he gives away his ass plate
Yes.
just so he can have a horn. Like, so why all of a sudden does it mean that much to him? And then in the end they find, it actually is really important. It's one of the brightest things in the, and that's
Yeah.
your
And also in the first episode, I think it's the first episode, Fry remarks that it's actually not that shiny.
yeah.
oh, so he's been polishing it.
he sleeps in a chamois nappy.
Yeah.
That's right, he does, doesn't he?
That's what he says in the episode.
But
that's
other than
nice.
that, like it like I wasn't like overly taken by it, but by the same time, I was like, yeah, there's a couple of episodes this season where I just go, yeah, I'll have this on in the background.
Yeah.
It felt very backgroundy.
I think-
a lot of the jokes did not go anywhere for me, or I didn't. There was a couple of things I found funny. There's always some laughs in a few.
I
I
love-
like head socks.
Yeah.
I love giant robot head.
Yes, that was
Giant robot head was where I was at.
Earl trading a giant robot head.
I like Bender saying, "Hey, nice cart," and then stealing the cart from Timmy
Yes.
the orphan.
Oh,
that was
the
nice.
Tinny Tim thing was just a succession in, oh no, it
How
can't
bad
get
can
any
it be?
worse.
But I feel like a lot of those jokes were telegraphed. You like, as soon as you're like, it's Timmy
Yeah.
with a sheet over him, you can instantly make the leap that he's got Bender's legs. Bender's going to take his legs off him, and then he's going to be sad. And
Yeah.
it's like you're about 3 minutes before all the jokes.
I think
Yeah.
with the exception of the
addition to the
crate,
cart, though.
the
Yes,
cart
yes.
though is like the kind of a step like you
Yes.
see that, and then you don't see this.
I liked
That's
the
true.
chainsaw as well, the kind of aggressive callousness of it.
Yes.
But I think the weird thing about this episode is that they spend like the first quarter or first third doing this weird kind of like, this is what it's going to be about. It's going to be
Yeah.
about unifying people and like anti-violence. And then the second one is like sort of the fetch questy sort of thing. And then the third one is this like, I don't know, double down on that, or like it's a really emotional moment about like how significant his ass is.
That last section has the stuff where they go explore the ship, which I wish they had more of, because that's kind of interesting. But maybe they were a bit worried because they do like the land ship exploration in an earlier episode.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a bit samey, but for me, that was the cool stuff where it's themed. They go in the bathysphere.
yeah.
The music's really nice.
We had the
Generally
Jaws
that-
reference.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter though, usually, because the production order is so wildly different to the
Yeah.
broadcast order that
Yeah.
they could have done this at any point, and it just you're gonna get like I think there was an episode. 2 episodes where the plots were pretty much identical in the first season. They were like slammed right next to each other consecutively.
I definitely, I think it just took too long to kind of get started. And by that time, you've already kind of lost
Yeah.
me. I've got no attention span. So I'm happy to kind of engage in things, but in terms of if I really want to like it, you kind of need to get me on board relatively quickly, as opposed to this just kind of felt like stop, start. Oh, okay.
Things don't pay off. You know, it feels like some of the worst habits of Simpsons plotting, where the first 10 minutes has no relevance to the rest. But sometimes in Simpsons, it can be really charming because the plot hits you out of left field, and you're like, aha, that's what they were setting up to
Yeah.
get to. But it didn't have that satisfaction.
Futurama does it well when they do the swap a lot quicker. Like in
Yes,
the first 2
for
minutes,
sure,
like I think
for
what's the
sure.
episode where I think it is Fear of a Bot Planet, where like they start off at the racetrack. And then it devolves into one of the worst episodes of the series. But like it takes a hard left turn within the first 2 minutes.
The one
and
that
they
with the-
effectively do that well.
The
Sorry.
Burnsball is where that opens with.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Burnsball. And then it takes a complete like, and they're really good when they do that. But when you spend 10 minutes setting up one episode and then you kind of veer into it.
Yeah.
It doesn't help when the character who things kind of steer into, who becomes the protagonist of the episode, is absent for that instigating event. right? He's off screen when he
Yeah.
gets robbed. So like they go off, they sell the guns. It's a massacre mistake thing, all of that bad stuff. And then they come back and it's like, oh, now we're actually going to start the episode. Like you could have started the episode there. They could have had, we sold these guns and they were broken or something, and now we're starting. Like there's nothing in that when they're talking to the gang where because Bender isn't there. So if he's going to run the rest of this episode, why isn't he there?
Well, just take it from like run that exact same scene, but like Fry and Leela go off to do whatever the drug trade is going to be, and then just dedicate that 5 minutes to Bender in the ship, and then he gets robbed. Like keep the focus on him.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing with it's a Planet Express drop. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Either it goes south or it goes south, because it always goes south.
And it could be a funnier gag as well to have them kind of come back and be like, you can put a lot of random gags in, like they've gone away and come back and it's either been really successful, really bad, or something hilarious has happened off screen.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Bender's like, well, I've been mugged, so...
Yeah.
You could have that whole episode start with them arriving back at the Planet Express ship. Bender's just eyes and mouth. And then being like, oh, how did the delivery go? And Bender coming out and being like, how do you think it went? You know,
Yeah,
just as an
yeah,
eye and a mouth thing.
It's like, oh, we didn't get robbed of anything important.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It was actually our most successful mission yet.
Blink if you're okay.
I got to say, death tally's sizable.
Are they dead?
Oh yeah.
I assume
Oh, no,
so.
because of course the ships are dead.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the gang
Oh no,
members.
they're dead too.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's
No,
that's
they're
a
definitely
blank,
dead.
point blank laser to the face.
They
Yeah.
seemed kind of stunned.
You're grasping.
And when they pan out, you can see kind of stuff oozing
Yeah,
from
okay.
them.
So that's at
I didn't
least
see the oozing.
that's
sorry.
at least 20 of them, and then every fucking ship. It's a large death tally this
with
week.
an
Yeah.
average of 5 people on a ship.
Yeah.
And the big ship, which
Yeah.
was a big
Yeah.
cruise liner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like a couple of thousand.
We
Nice.
had
Yeah.
we had some
good.
people lost in a shootout as well on the weird cruise.
Oh, with
Casino?
the Silverman. What's his
Yeah.
name?
Oh,
yeah.
The Borax kid.
Oh, the
Borax
Kid.
Yeah, we had a shootout with like what
3 extra.
three
Yeah.
extra
The
gangsters.
scenes are also pointless. I just remembered that they went to see fucking Hedonism Bot.
Senator
Senator.
Hedonism.
Senator
How
Hedonism.
to you.
Completely forgotten.
I liked that
I
moment.
definitely didn't
It's
forget that.
fine.
I
like,
enjoyed it,
but
but
it doesn't serve anything.
well, I think if Bender was, do you remember a long time ago in season 1 when Bender loses his antenna?
Yes,
He gets it cut off.
it's a Spanish Fry.
It's Spanish Fry. That's right. And
No, that's Fry.
No,
losing
that's
his
Fry
nose.
losing
This
his
is
nose.
I roommate.
That's I roommate. Thank
Yeah.
you. And the whole thing is about Bender choosing to remove his own like sex organ
so that they can
so
watch
they
TV.
can watch TV. The amount
you
of
do.
emotional trauma that Bender goes through and the amount of sympathy and empathy you have to have for that character is significant. In this, it's so fucking callous. But imagine if every single moment in this episode was beat by beat, like hilarious thing, but also Bender's desperate need to get his things back.
Well, so, I talk about Spanish Fry, but that's like kind of a perfect thing. Like he's on how much he needs his fucking nose back.
Yeah.
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 Every scene is kind of that's his objective. Just don't use my nose for sex, please.
And then also like there were no kind of funny things to help Bender in the interim.
No, that's right.
Like, you know, with Spanish Fry, we had the Groucho glasses, the fake noses.
That's right.
Him kind of constantly trying new, different ways to fix the problem. Whereas,
this only has the Fry using the baby carrier
yeah,
for Bender's body.
Yeah.
And that's barely noted. Like
I love
the fact
that.
that you
I
are
love
like
the Bender vest.
I liked it as well. I liked it quite
Good
a
use
lot.
of your Bender functions.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Well, he's a keg.
yeah.
His body is a keg. I kind of like that joke where he
man.
drinks the booze.
Yeah.
He goes, that's empty. They just literally just pour it on the floor.
yeah, I did enjoy that as well because they're just three nerds. Come on, let them have the. College is
doesn't-
not going to be fun for them. All right, just let them have this.
Robot house.
He's a sterilizer. He blows the flames on his
that's
penis.
True.
Oh. Yeah,
I
you
was-
could just say flamethrower.
I think I was so annoyed by this episode. I didn't actually note these things down.
He's also a lighthouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
His butt is an effective lighthouse. His butt can also feel emotions if that's a function.
That's a function.
Yeah.
Emotions are functions.
Emotions
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
good
they have
function.
a function.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
are
to
functional.
be emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To feel.
I have a question.
feel.
I have a question.
Yes.
We have answers.
If your
If you
butt was-
turn your shirt inside out,
Yeah.
Yes.
does it swap what's on the left and right?
Depends on the color and depends on what fashion guru.
Sean's about to try this.
You
Because I don't
Right
think it
now,
does.
as
And I
we
didn't know if that
speak.
was an oversight or unintentional.
Sean's got naked.
Or intentional.
Did
Sean,
not-
put your pants back on. We don't need to put them.
I definitely.
Ellen, don't look.
Yes, because the L should be
Why
there.
me?
It's now here.
Okay.
Yeah, it would.
Yes.
Okay.
Gender roles.
It would
Ellen.
also look silly
Yeah.
because you've clearly got your shirt
yeah.
Inside out.
inside out.
Yeah.
But
Maybe it's the hip new thing.
maybe it's reversible. I don't know. You also think that the
Cut
color
this
would
bit
be a lot lighter than it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, these things are not paid much attention because
Also, if you're a
Why would you?
gang, one of you picked your outfit first. The second one is just a stupid move. Like, pick different. Pick something that's going to be less.
yeah. I
Yeah.
once had to referee a roller derby game, and like both the teams were blue, and so it was like a big conversation with the refs early to be like, okay, so one team we'll call them teal, and one team
You
You
know,
don't have home and away kits?
is blue.
well, you know how they do it in
Sometimes we have bibs, yeah,
AFL sport.
but
It's
shirts versus skins.
no, it's based on shorts.
Shorts versus no
If
shorts.
colors are too close, one team will be in black shorts, the
Yep.
other will be in white shorts.
Yep.
Hey.
It's a good, like, the blues were still quite distinctive enough that you would be able to easily pick apart which team was which, but it was just because you need to call in full. You need to go like, toot your whistle, teal, 69, because of course
Nice.
that's a derby number. Why not?
Oh.
Cutting the track, penalty, something like that. This isn't exactly fashion corner, it's more of an accessory. But
Wink.
We might as well go into it, right?
Accessory
Uh,
corner.
Wink.
it's still technically fashion, yeah.
Thing that you wear.
So the guns, two beautiful guns that you
Not
know
where I thought fashion corner was going.
caught my attention. Definitely, the Borax kid has these beautiful. They're not revolvers. They're just kind
Lot
of
derringers.
Yeah, they're little
Yeah.
little derringers, and they're gold, and they've got almost like it looks like it's meant to be like a mother of pearl handle. Oh man, I wanted
Mother
a
of
bit
pearl.
more time.
What do you think about Bender's alternate ass?
His
The whale oil.
the
It's a
whale
whale
oil
barrel.
barrel.
Yeah.
Look, it's new, it's different, it's unusual. I don't like it, but
I do.
I mean, you could steer into the skid there.
What about Earl's alternate head?
That's fashion.
That's fashion.
That's
How is that?
fucking scary that used to belong to a robot, which means there's a fucking huge
There's a huge
Earl
Earl
out there somewhere that's
he is
now
like
dead.
he is like the Earl, like the first Earl, the god of all Earls.
And maybe that Earl now has the small Earl body.
That
No,
is
the small
hilarious.
Earl head.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Which would you rather? Giant head, little body, or little head, giant body?
I gotta say, the only
You
reason
must decide.
I'd say little head is because with a gigantic head, I'd just be on the floor.
I know, but it's like you're in big heads mode in GoldenEye, and that's just nostalgic.
Do you have the neck muscles to support it?
I kind of assume you can live your life.
in this
Yeah.
hypothetical, yeah, you would
You can?
still be able to like, yeah, you might get it might be the same as like having really big boobs. Like your neck might
It's a bit
get sore
uncomfortable.
at the end of the day, and
Okay,
you know you
okay,
might
okay.
have kind of other back issues.
You might need a very supportive bra
A head
your
bra.
head.
Head bra.
or
A head socks.
This isn't weird science.
hurrah. Hurrah. That's what we'd call it. Head bra. Is a
You
hurrah.
go around in a brace the whole time.
I would
Yeah.
absolutely go with the big head. You know why?
Big
brain.
Big head, big brain.
Yeah.
Big head, big brain. I'd only have big brain thoughts.
I go with
Galaxy
Galaxy
brain.
brain thoughts.
I go with big body, big dick,
Not always.
but more so.
But wouldn't it? No, because you wouldn't be able to. This is the thing
It's
about having.
accentuating my body, and my dick's already big.
This is the problem
So-
about having a big dick. Is if you have a big dick, there's only a certain length you can go before it becomes disastrously
Yeah.
bad, like
Yeah.
negative, where you
Yeah.
can't fit anything more unless it's. You know what?
It's the girth.
No, let's
that's the
unpack this.
issue.
For women, that's true.
It's the-
If it's butt stuff,
Anyway, I thought the cruise ship had some really cool characters.
I'm very tired.
I really like that whole little
SS
aside.
Miami muy caliente.
Sorry, that
And
was a
the
good
whole-
segue from my butt stuff.
Yeah,
stuff.
and the whole idea. Yes,
there's butt stuff happening.
It's clearly a gay cruise liner, but it's not lampshaded. It just is.
It's
and
very
really
nice. I'm
And the
glad-
fact that they're having mojitos
Sounds like heaven
on
right
the
now.
job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
of
part
course.
of their job.
Well
It's
muddled as well by Alejandro.
Sean, that's gay culture.
I'm glad
written-
none of you were working on a cruise ship.
written into the contract that you must have a mojito.
You have saved us and our Saturday night.
I don't know. That's just nice. And hey, we don't have to invoke the bury your gays trope, as they're just fine. They sail on ahead.
They're doing fine. Yeah.
They're doing good.
Their Saturday night has been saved. As they say.
My favorite parts about this episode were a lot of the visual gags. So it's the writers and the directors and the storyboard artists having fun. So head socks for me is a big one. Coming soon, arson
Yes.
was another, and
The honey pot,
The honey pot
Winnie
gag.
the Pooh the honey pot that Fry gets stuck on his
that
head.
one fell flat for me.
Oh bother!
and barrel
Again, it's
barrelbot.
telegraphed. Like, yeah, sorry.
Barrelbot.
Barrelbot.
The homeless, were they homeless?
They were bums. They were hobos.
Yeah.
By the barrel, and the barrel was by another smaller barrel.
I liked that.
Robot
Yeah.
hands.
That was
I
nice.
really
I
enjoyed
like a robot
that.
design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind the lighthouse keeper as a character. I thought he's
Tarquin?
Tarquin.
Tarquin.
Yes,
Tarquin.
I thought he was quite good. He had some good lines, like "The storm's coming. I can feel it in my weather channel," which is great. And he just has that lovely, the old salt voice. Yeah, he's great.
I
like
enjoyed
him.
it a lot.
Yeah,
I wish we had, I guess more of him. You know, more kind of lighthouse, more kind of nautical theming.
Yeah, I love that set piece as well. Just
Yeah.
that
The
Agreed.
lighthouse was great.
yeah. And the asteroid, what are the nebula?
yes, and
so
the
to speak.
bathysphere, all that stuff is
Yeah.
awesome. And they have the cool space, the
Water diving suit.
diving
things.
suits, diving suits.
Reminded me
yeah.
of like, when you see kind of those deep sea divers and they go
Clang.
and they clang around. It's
Yeah,
so,
yeah. How long
following-
have you been podcasting for?
Shut up.
God damn! I have to edit this. Stop hitting them
Stop hitting yourself, Chris. Stop making your life
travels-
harder, Chris.
into all the microphones.
If it's any
You gotta-
consolation, I hurt myself doing it.
Good.
Your penance,
I don't even remember what I was going to say.
the deep sea divers.
Deep sea divers.
Yeah, when they go kind of down and then there's like a layer of sediment, so it kind of looks like they're about to dive again into the ocean, even though they're already underwater. It's just like that. There's this all this sediment and muck and stuff that's making a perfect line in the ocean. I don't know. Them diving deep down into the mist and then going further into a kind of different kind of color scale and
You can
stuff.
get rivers of hyper salty water.
I know.
Under
That
the sea,
fucks
which
me
look
up. I
fucking
love
eerie.
I love looking at photos of that. It's
Yeah.
fucking nuts.
What
Also
about you?
super toxic.
What about you, Chris? Your good moments.
I had very few, which was disappointing.
Chris is looking at his phone.
I went on Instagram halfway through. I was
That's
super. I mean, I
Yeah.
am fucking kicking a sugar habit. So my
It was
attention
also
span is
not attention grabbing.
Senator as
Senator
hedonism
Hedonism
bot.
bot?
That was fantastic. The robot head was fantastic. You know the answer to that, you scurvy bastard. I quite enjoyed that delivery. And I guess they didn't like all my screaming and winking, which is the line I opened this episode with. Look, there's not. Maybe the toilet, the porno monster. I have
Back from Spanish Fry.
I have a soft spot for him. I have a great affinity to that creature.
In another life,
He and I
that was
see. Well, I actually saw a job description for a porno gig recently that I was going for, but
How'd you go?
no, the job application ended yesterday. I really wanted that job. It would have been a
They
good job.
finished?
Yeah, they finished.
I get it.
I hated the Lassie thing. It was like we made a pun on the name of the episode and now we have to pay it off. It felt like 3 acts. I also thought the opening was kind of problematic. Again, I'm not an African American person or involved in gang culture. Don't believe my Twitter, but so I'm not
news.
qualified to say whether or not it is. But it just felt a little bit
Yes,
clearly John
squiffy.
DiMaggio doing a African American voice, doing gang
He
voice
does
stuff.
that a lot as well.
Yeah, so I mean,
voices a lot of black characters.
Anyway.
Let's make it official. Goodwill Hunting. Assie Comes Home. 3, 2, 1. Goodwill
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 Hunting.
Hunting.
I said Goodwill Hunting, but it's
yeah,
actually
well,
Free
that's
Will,
actually
free
it.
will
God
Hunting.
damn it!
That's
no,
actually-
I
that's
don't
better
wanna,
than this as
no,
well.
I don't want to vote for although that does have Robin Williams.
Goodwill Hunting over Free Will Hunting.
Goodwill Hunting
1,
is
2. I'm not going to do
Fucking
it.
awesome. Free Will
I
Hunting
haven't
is
seen
2.
it. I haven't seen Goodwill
such a
Hunting.
good film.
I love
What happens in it?
Robin Williams and Matt Damon have
Hunt
some
some
scenes
goodwills.
together. Yeah.
that's cute.
Robin
Yeah.
Williams is stunning in that film. He really does kind of like
Pop.
pull the whole fucking thing together just because he's just so, oh man, now I'm sad.
Matt Damon's off to see about a girl.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have one nerd reference I would like to make.
Yeah.
The idea of Bender just being ahead and stuff like that. If anyone reads The Runaways, it's a very fun comic. It's set in the Marvel universe. There's
Which is a Hulu TV series.
Yeah, they made it into a TV show now. So, and they've recently done a new run of Runaways. And one of the characters, Victor Manchez, he ends up as just ahead.
Spoilers.
Not really. It happens in like
I
another
haven't seen
fucking
it, so I'm
Avengers
just
thing.
saying it.
And so he has to he straps himself to a Roomba to get around. And there's like a lot of really, really funny gags because he doesn't want to kind of get his cyborg body back. He's happy just being ahead. And so he figures out lots of different ways to kind of move around and
Question to everyone. If
Yeah.
you could give up your human body for a Roomba body, would you do it? Answer on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wait,
yes.
do I get to control where the Roomba goes? Or do I just have to kind of
You have to go wherever it's going.
Do I live forever as a result?
Yeah.
Well, you are
yes.
a cyborg.
Do I get
but you
to-
just have to keep running into fucking furniture fixtures.
Also, your head isn't
and
that well
moving-
attached. So
Oh,
like,
that's what I was going to ask. If I like hit something low, do I just fall off the Roomba?
no, you were still attached. It's just kind of wobbly. So like, there's a kind of thud action to it. If you hit a wall, your head is going to hit that wall.
Well, you
hard.
gotta have life with some stakes.
I have
in it.
vertigo.
Yeah, you're going to have a bad time.
Can someone strap a knife to me and I
Yeah.
can attack people's ankles?
You have immortality.
Yeah.
Convince someone with
Sweet.
your Roomba body.
And then as soon as the cat poops on the floor, I'm going to spread
I
it
can't,
everywhere.
I can't wait for you
Spread
to
it
be
everywhere.
drift in a desert as a Roomba with a human head.
I'll tell you what the story of how the fuck you got there.
I'm also. Yeah, I can't wait to see that in the MCU.
There's a
Victor Manchez on a Roomba body.
there's a new video game created by Australian video game makers where it's a Roomba that
Yes.
protects against a house invasion.
Aw.
And then
It's so cute.
kills the house invaders
Oh.
and then eats the bodies.
Oh no!
And then has to clean it.
wouldn't that just spread all the like?
That's what happens.
Oh,
so you kill
no.
them. Then the bodies, you have to eat the bodies. So then the bodies got splattered up, and then you
then
have
you
to
can
suck up all the
smear
blood.
Is that
blood
like is it a bit like
everywhere.
Viscera cleanup detail? or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, except top down and very cute because
Okay,
it
cool.
goes into like kill mode if you drink enough blood. And it gets like little angry eyes. It's very cute.
I do
Good
like-
work, Australian makers.
I do
Yes,
like how
despite having
attached people,
no fun.
humans will attach themselves to fucking anything. And there was this Tumblr post about someone bringing their Roomba in for repair, and the salesperson was like, "Don't worry, it's going to be the same model. We're just swapping some parts out. We're not replacing it." And the person was like, "What? That's fine." And some people just get really attached.
I get really attached to you guys, and you aren't real. You're all figments of my
That's correct.
fucking
Yeah,
psychosis.
that is true.
And listeners, I know you're very attached to us, but just know that we will be back in another week when we will be watching and talking about Leela and the Gene Stalk.
Ooh.
Oh, this one's an interesting one coming up. I won't say
Special
much
guest.
yeah.
Ain't
I mean,
seen it.
We'll be back if we bump into a wall and turn around.
But we can't promise that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
someone might have to pick us up
Yes,
and
reset it.
So
hold us in front of the microphone,
Hard cut to 4 Roombas just moving around this table, this recording table.
or balance like 5 books on top of a chair to try and get it to the right kind of height.
We only got 5 more episodes, and then Free Will Hunting may be
Wins.
the unequivocal champion
I don't know about that.
of
The
season
last
7.
episode is supposed to be extremely good.
The last 3.
yeah.
I think I
Ooh.
certainly know the last 2 are fantastic. I don't know about the third. The last third to
we
last.
shall see.
We shall see, but until we shall see, I have been Roven Roomba Sean.
I've been wheelie good Ellen.
I've been starved for sugar, Chris.
I've been Alejandro.
You've been knocking your mic around, mate.
Because of the
Phil.
hot mojitos.
I cannot sit still.
He's had too many mojitos.
You know why? Too much sugar.
That's right. That's
You need to cut sugar. Join me in this hell.
Nah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We love you.
Mwah.
I don't.
Well,
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to contact us, you can do so by emailing us at babybeardmedia@gmail.com. Our socials are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @babybeardmedia. And if you're looking for a way to support us, the best way you can do it is by jumping onto iTunes or the podcast app and giving us a 5-star rating and a nice review. It goes a long way to helping us. Otherwise, if you'd like to join us next week...
Anyway. If you want to go to a zoo, go to a zoo.
Yeah, and no one really went there, and so it went from being like a half-day park to now Pandora's there. Like, Jenny was like, I would say like 2-day park as well. Like, she really loved the atmosphere. The
reason it's popular, though, is because our world is so utterly garbage. People would rather be a giant blue alien on a fictional planet. I like the
hey man,
go through 20 corkscrews until you die. Have you seen, like, I'm just totally going to derail whatever the hell you were talking about.
Right.
By talking about someone designed like a euthanasia roller coaster.
Yeah. And
Have you
just
heard of that one?
Suffocate, yeah.
Yeah, it just corkscrews you in an ever tightening spiral until your brain dies.
My mum got thrown out of a roller coaster.
Really?
Her mum, my grandmother, had to pull her back in.
She shouldn't have been so disruptive.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
you
right.
took my joke.
Hey, if you're listening to this, fucking vaccinate your kids.
Vaccinate everyone.
Vaccinate me.
Vaccinate yourselves.
I feel
Give
like
us money
I
on
mean,
Patreon
maybe-
so we can vaccinate
I
ourselves.
feel like if you're
Please, God.
on the fence and like some randos who talk about
Hey.
Futurama is what tips you over,
then you're our listenership. Thank you for listening.
I've got like an info from
Phil,
Yeah, I've got a really
don't
good idea,
dismiss
right?
us. Yeah.
Set up like either Twitch or Discord,
Yeah.
and get it to just, we don't record it. It just
We'll vaccinate
people
ourselves for
people can
things
just
we don't
listen
even
to
know.
our banter,
Yeah.
listen to our pre-show banter
Yeah.
beforehand, and then we stop as soon as we're about to start recording. So they just get the inane bullshit for 10 minutes beforehand.
Perfect.